What if I told you there are objects in the universe that tick forever, not because of a battery, but because they inherently defy the laws of physics as we know them? Or that your very own DNA might harbor secret genetic echoes from a human lineage we barely even knew existed? And what if, right now, miles beneath your feet, there's an entire hidden world teeming with life so alien it makes deep-sea creatures look like regular pets? Let's dive headfirst into the truly mind-bending. 1. The enduring enigma of time crystals. Okay, so you know how a normal crystal, like a quartz or a diamond, has atoms arranged in a repeating pattern in space. It's a stable, low-energy state. Think of it like a perfectly stacked pile of Lego bricks. Awesome. Now, what if I told you there's a theoretical, and now actual, kind of crystal that has a repeating pattern not just in space, but also in time? Yes, you heard me right, time. This isn't science fiction anymore, folks. We're talking about time crystals. The concept was first theorized by Nobel laureate Frank Wilczek in 2012. He wondered if there could be a system that spontaneously breaks time translation symmetry. Basically, it has a periodic motion even in its lowest energy state, or ground state. Normal objects in their ground state are usually static and unchanging. They're at rest. But a time crystal? It just keeps on oscillating forever without any external energy input. Imagine a pendulum that swings eternally, never losing energy, even at absolute zero. It's like a perpetual motion machine, but not in the way that violates the first law of thermodynamics. Instead, it's about how quantum mechanics messes with our classical expectations. For years, it was just a cool theoretical idea. But then, in 2016 and 2017, multiple research groups, notably at the University of Maryland and Harvard, independently announced that they had actually created these elusive time crystals in the lab. They used chains of ytterbium ions and diamonds with nitrogen vacancy centers, manipulating them with lasers. These aren't just theoretical curiosities, they're literal, physical systems exhibiting this bizarre behavior. Think about the implications: new types of quantum memory, ultra-precise sensors, or even just fundamentally challenging our understanding of equilibrium and the very nature of time itself. It's like finding out gravity sometimes pushes instead of pulls, but only for certain super cool rocks. Your mind is already blown, right? Good, because we're just getting started. 2. The immortal jellyfish Turritopsis dohrnii. Alright, put aside your time-bending physics for a sec, and let's talk about life, specifically life that just refuses to die. We all age, right? It's just a fundamental, depressing fact of existence. But what if I told you there's a creature swimming in our oceans that has found a way to literally cheat death? Meet the immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis dohrnii. This tiny, translucent creature, usually no bigger than your pinky nail, was first identified in the Mediterranean Sea in the 1980s, and its bizarre trick was noticed shortly after. Unlike most jellyfish that complete their life cycle, starting as a polyp, maturing into a medusa, the bell-shaped jellyfish we recognize, reproducing and then dying, Turritopsis dohrnii has a secret weapon. When faced with environmental stress, injury, or just old age, it doesn't kick the bucket. Oh no. Instead, it undergoes a process called transdifferentiation. Basically, it reverts. It pulls its tentacles and bell back, shrinks into a blob, and then transforms back into an immature polyp stage, settling onto the seabed and starting its life cycle all over again. It's like a butterfly deciding it's had enough of flying and turning itself back into a caterpillar. Not just any caterpillar, mind you, but a baby caterpillar, ready to grow up again. This means, theoretically, it can repeat this cycle indefinitely, making it biologically immortal. Scientists are, of course, absolutely obsessed with studying this little guy, hoping to unlock its secrets to understand cellular regeneration and, dare we dream, human aging. Imagine if we could just reset. No more wrinkles, just a quick revert to your teenage self. The implications for medicine and our understanding of life itself are staggering. 3. The Denisovan ghost in your genes. Now let's turn the magnifying glass inward to your own DNA. We all know about Neanderthals, right? Our ancient human cousins who lived alongside our direct ancestors, Homo sapiens, before eventually dying out. But what if I told you there was a third major group of archaic humans, living around the same time, who also interbred with our ancestors, and whose genetic legacy lives on in many of us today? I'm talking about the Denisovans, and for many people, they're the ghost in your genes. The story of the Denisovans really began around 2010. Scientists, led by the incredible geneticist Svante Pääbo, who recently won a Nobel Prize for his work on ancient DNA, were analyzing a tiny finger bone fragment and a tooth found in Denisova Cave in Siberia. What they discovered through advanced DNA sequencing was astonishing. This wasn't Neanderthal, and it wasn't modern human. It was something entirely new, a distinct lineage of hominins. We know relatively little about what they looked like, as skeletal remains are incredibly scarce. It's like trying to piece together a whole species from just a few teeth and bone fragments. But here's the kicker. As more ancient DNA was sequenced and then compared to the genomes of modern humans around the world, a clear pattern emerged. While most non-African populations carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA, typically 1 to 2%, certain populations, particularly those from Southeast Asia, the Philippines, and especially Melanesia, like Papua New Guineans and Aboriginal Australians, show a significant genetic contribution from Denisovans. Some indigenous populations in Papua New Guinea have up to 5% of their DNA that traces back to these mysterious archaic humans. This Denisovan DNA isn't just junk. It's thought to have conferred advantages like adaptations to high altitudes or enhanced immune system responses, helping Homo sapiens survive and thrive in new environments. So, the next time you look in the mirror, remember, you might be carrying a tiny, ancient genetic echo from a mysterious human cousin, a silent partner in your evolutionary journey, helping you fight off that flu virus. Pretty wild, huh? 4. Planets without stars, the rogue worlds. Okay, from the tiny to the truly colossal. We all learn in school that planets orbit stars, right? The Earth orbits the Sun, Mars orbits the Sun, Gliese 581g orbits Gliese 581. It's fundamental astronomy. But what if I told you that our galaxy, and likely every galaxy, is teeming with billions upon billions of planets that don't orbit any star? They're just drifting through the cold, dark emptiness of interstellar space, completely untethered. These are the rogue planets, or free-floating planets. For a long time, these lonely planets were purely theoretical. How would a planet just wander off? Scientists believe they typically form in nascent planetary systems, just like regular planets, but then get gravitationally ejected during violent early interactions with other massive planets or even their parent star. Imagine a cosmic game of billiards, and one of the balls gets smacked so hard it just flies off the table, never to return. The first strong evidence for these rogue worlds started emerging in the early 2010s, thanks to sophisticated detection methods like gravitational microlensing. When a rogue planet passes directly in front of a distant star from our perspective, its gravity can temporarily magnify and brighten the light from that background star. It's a fleeting cosmic alignment, but it tells us there's an invisible mass out there. Surveys by observatories like the Roman Space Telescope are poised to find many more. Estimates vary wildly, but some studies suggest there could be at least as many rogue planets as there are stars in the Milky Way, potentially hundreds of billions. What's even crazier is the thought of life on such a world. While the surface would be unimaginably cold, some scientists theorize that large rogue planets could potentially harbor subsurface oceans warmed by internal geothermal heat, just like some moons in our own solar system, like Europa or Enceladus. A world with no sun, just endless night, but with liquid water deep beneath its frozen crust. It completely redefines where and how life could exist. Mind blown. Again. 5. Earth's hidden underground ocean of life, the deep biosphere. You've seen life in the oceans, on land, even flying in the sky. You know about bacteria, fungi, plants, animals. But what if I told you that beneath your very feet, extending kilometers down into the solid rock of our planet, there's an entire vast hidden ecosystem? A deep biosphere that contains an unimaginable amount of life, utterly cut off from the sun, thriving in conditions we would consider absolutely lethal. For decades, scientists thought life primarily existed on Earth's surface, powered by the sun. But thanks to incredible advances in deep drilling, boreholes, and seismic imaging, we've started to uncover a literally massive underground realm. The Deep Carbon Observatory (DCO) project, active throughout the 2010s, brought together hundreds of scientists to explore this hidden frontier. And what they found was truly astonishing. This subsurface world extends for kilometers, sometimes up to 5 kilometers, over 3 miles, into the Earth's crust, both on land and beneath the ocean floor. It's a dark, super hot, and incredibly high-pressure environment, filled with water seeping through cracks and pores in the rock. And it's absolutely teeming with microbial life, mostly bacteria and archaea. These aren't creatures relying on photosynthesis like plants. Instead, they're chemosynthetic, meaning they extract energy from chemical reactions with the surrounding rocks and fluids. They eat methane, hydrogen, sulfur, iron, anything they can get their metabolic hands on. The sheer scale of this deep biosphere is mind-boggling. Scientists estimate that the total carbon mass of this deep-seated life could be 15 to 23 billion tons, representing 245 to 385 times the carbon mass of all humans on the surface. It's one of Earth's largest ecosystems, yet almost completely invisible to us. This deep life teaches us about the absolute resilience and adaptability of living organisms, pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible for life to endure. It also has profound implications for understanding the origin of life on Earth and where we might find it on other planets, like Mars or Europa, where similar subsurface environments could exist. There's more going on under our feet than we could ever imagine. So, whether it's a crystal that never stops ticking, a jellyfish that just won't die, the echoes of ancient humans in your very DNA, a planet lost in the cosmic void, or an entire hidden world teeming with life right beneath your shoes, the universe and our own planet are absolutely packed with wonders that continually challenge our understanding. What other secrets do you think are lurking out there, just waiting to be discovered? Let me know in the comments below.